This question comes to us from John Holt. And you know, this is a good question because it's a question about blending things. And he's talking about Joe Nichols, the leveraging of the club, or this up and down. And where Joe used to say, you know, you leverage the club up and you level the club out and you leverage it up, which is up and down, especially back here. So you're thinking leverage the club up, level it out, leverage the club up. And I've talked about that your right hand basically goes like this. So it flexes and extends, okay? Well, when you make a golf swing, it's a blend of those two actions. So the question becomes, which one is the most important and which one makes the other one happen, okay? So when you start the club back, if you start the club back by leveraging the club, and there are some players that do that, what I found for me is when I leverage the club first, for a lot of people, their bodies don't move and their arms don't swing around them. So all they end up doing is just picking the club up. When we start talking about how your right hand and your right arm swing, then it gets your arm swinging in an arc. Now the reality in my swing is I start it back, the first part of my backswing from right here to right there, there is no up and down. So when I swing the club to right there, the angle in my left wrist, if you look at my angle between the clat and the club shaft, when I swing the club back to here, this angle right here hasn't changed. The club has swung back. My right wrist has gone into flexion and my left has gone into a little bit of extension, but there hasn't been any up and down. But then as the club swings back and it gets right there, the momentum of the club now can't keep going that way, but it has momentum. So now this is flexed and this is extended a little bit, so where does the club go? It breaks up, and that creates this L here. So there's the ulnar and radial deviation, which is only about that much from my setup to the top of my swing. And then I get to the top, and then I start down, and I feel like the club swings level. It doesn't, because the weight of the club, the momentum of the club unhinges my wrists. And then I swing through, and it goes level, which is doing this through here. And then what does the momentum of the club do? As it passes my hands, and it can't go forward, and I keep hold of the club, where does the club head go? It breaks up, and so then my wrists re-hinge. So all of these things, we get into the basics, and we're going to do more of this in 2.0 with the Malaska Golf, the M system. You learn these basics, and you learn how these forces work, and then what you feel and what you have to tweak it with to get them to work, they're little nuances, okay? There isn't one thing that everybody's going to feel or one drill that's going to fit everybody. Some people need a little more wrist hinge up and down. Some need a little more back and forth or flexion extension. So it's a blending of hand action to get it to work correct. If I watch you swing and I see too much of one and not enough of another, I can fix it. So there's a way for us to build both of those. You know, so generically when I talk about things, I may be talking about one of those angles, but they both happen. So, and they happen pretty automatically once you understand what they're doing. The momentum of the club really makes them happen, and how your body moves makes a lot of the alignments work. So it becomes less and less a thought process and more just emotion. But the question's great. Sounds like this is a little confusing. You say there isn't much up and down, but then you're saying there's up and down. Well, okay, let's figure out who it's for and why. End result, to hit it, you have to have a little flexion and you have to have some up and down. That's the lever system. There has to be a little bit of this. But if I see people getting way too much of that or doing it incorrectly where the face is all out of position, then we've got to take some of that out and they start feeling like they're not using their wrists at all. Or so they feel like their hands are just going back and forth. They don't feel any up and down. Some people who take it back and their arms collapse and their wrists never work have to feel like they have to push the handle down and feel like they set the angle first. So they got to feel a lot of ulnar and radial deviation or wrist hinge. So there is an optimum, what you want. How you get it with each person is different. That's another reason why as we do the site, we're going to have lessons where you can send me videos. I can send you back the drills you need. Because even as much as I've tried to make this site simple, there's a lot of drills and a lot of information, and you can get lost in the information relative to who you are. Most people should just go through the M system and go step 1, step 2, and just keep repeating it. And the better you get at the M system, the better you're going to get. When you go into the drill libraries and all the ass mics and you start hearing all the different things, unless you have a real clear understanding of what you're trying to do, which is what I keep trying to help people understand, you can get a little lost with any information. So it's a blend of information all the time. It is, even is for me. There are times when I'm doing a little more wrist, times a little less. It's not a lot. I move my body back a little, move it a less. You know, so you're always tweaking it just a little bit within the confines of a structure that doesn't let you get too far offline. That's the key. So you never get it where it's too bad. Be sure to subscribe to my channel for regular updates and tips. Thanks for watching.